everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big hello to all the new subscribers. Got an outboard here that came in a little while ago, and the guy said he just wants it tuned up, checked over, and make sure everything's working right on it. So I haven't even done a fax check on it. I just did a visual inspection on it, and I can show you what I got, and we'll go from there. So here's the Victome. It's a 30 Johnson. It's at least 1990, because that's when they came out with that shift handle that you can see is broken there. And I noticed that the propeller down there is a little warbly. The motor mounts aren't the best. I can tell they're at least wore, if not completely broke. Whoops. So I'll check them. But a few things that you can tell on it, sorry about that, already is that it's got a broke shift handle. Hopefully you can see that there. It's all broke, but other than that, from a visual, that's all I really see that's wrong with it. A little bit of bonnet dust in there, and a little bit of gravel and stuff around. See if I can get some light on it a little better. But overall, fairly clean little motor. I don't see anything majorly out of place or anything like that. So, but that don't mean a whole lot. So let me get the spark plugs out of it and get a spark checker on it and a compression checker and stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, if you watch the spark checker right here, I got them both hooked up, but I'm only getting spark on the one cylinder. So, let me do that one more time so I can, okay. So, then I just trace this wire back around, and it is the top that's not firing. So, let me just wiggle things around, see if anything happens. Sometimes you just got a corroded connection. And with that, you have to wiggle things around. So, let's see. Yeah. A little corrosion in the actual coil wire. Yeah, it's not overly bad. And just pull off the spark plug. It's got some dielectric in it, looks pretty good. Alright. Another thing I do before I start doing anything drastic is I'll take the coupler and take off the wire retainer, that deal, and I just look at these connections here. They all look really clean. I'm looking at the 5-pin, and it looks pretty clean in there. Put that in my pocket. Let's pull it over, see if anything happened with just all that wiggling. So, I'd say most likely we're going to have to check that coil. And most likely, if you, the manual says, well, the CDI manual and troubleshooting page says loss of spark on all cylinders or one bank of cylinders, suspect power pack. Loss of spark on a single cylinder or a single cylinder on a bank, suspect coil. So I'm going to check the grounds on that coil and different things like that. Make sure they're all clean. And if they're all clean and good looking, I'll throw this thing on my coil tester. So I'll be right back. Boom, boom. Alrighty. As I stated in the video, the CDI troubleshooting site says if you have loss of spark on one cylinder of a bank or more than one cylinder on a bank, but spark on the rest of them, then suspect a coil. If you have loss of spark on an entire bank or on the entire engine when it comes to a 2 or 3 cylinder, then suspect a power pack. But that's not always right. What I found, I just chased these coils. In other words, I took the lead from the bottom coil and stuck it on the top, and the spark followed. So I had spark coming out of both coils, but I only had spark coming out of one side of the power pack. So I took the power pack off, and what I found was all these wires were mashed in there up against the block, and that one had rubbed completely through and was grounded to the block. I could probably just tape that over, but the rest of them are so crushed and bent up. I don't know, hopefully I'm getting that. But the rest of them are so crushed and bent up right in there. And then where it comes out right there, you can see some of the rubber is still stuck into the whatever this epoxy acrylic stuff they use. But there was the problem. That was all rubbed through and grounded. I saw just a little speck about like that. And so I just replaced the whole power pack. This I could tape that and it'd probably still work, but everything else is in such crinkled up bad shape I don't trust it. So I just replaced it. But you can see my sparky checker there now. I got good sparky on all of them. So we got good hot spark, 2 cylinders. So feels like it has good compression, but give me a second, we'll do a compression test. Alright, this is going to be a compression test on the top cylinder. See what we got. Hope you can see that. We're looking at about 125 almost on the top. So that's plenty. Now we'll do the bottom. Like I said, the little motor overall looks pretty clean. It looks, what I like about it is it looks original when it comes to the way things are hooked up in here. The way even that crushed wires looks like it came that way from the factory. This thing. So that's good. Alright, let's see what we got on the bottom. Compression wise. Alrighty. Hopefully you can see that. But she's sitting there at about 125. good. So 125 top and bottom. We got good spark key on both cylinders now. Hopefully you can see there's a bunch of yucky dust and everything from that bonnet, and sitting on top of that plastic carburetor top. And so the bonnet is all dry, and what I generally do is I just I'll take some either 7mm spray adhesive and glue all that down, or even some spray paint, some rattle can spray paint, and just glue the inside of the bonnet, because all that crap that you see, sitting on top of that carburetor, well, when that motor's running, it don't even have an air silencer on this model, so it sucks it right into the old carb. So I'll clean the carb up. Another interesting thing, I found this laying in the pan, and I know what that is. As soon as I found that little treasure in there, I said, I know what that is. Do you know what that is? Yeah, I know what that is. That, if you answered, is part of the dog paw up under the recoil starter. That's the tip of it. So when I pull that recoil starter off of there, you're going to see a chunk of that dog paw, and this one's probably got 2 dog paws. You're going to see this piece is missing, because I found it in the lower cow pan. I didn't find any other treasures, but I found that, and I said, that's clutch dog paw. So we'll have to replace that. So, of course, somebody could have already replaced it, and that was just left as a treasure in the pan, but we'll see. But right now I just got to clean things up, and then I'll pop that carburetor off there and see what I find in it. I'll be back. Alright, so we got, the carb had nothing of significance in there. It was pretty clean overall. I just squirted it with some regular old rattle can Walmart intake carb cleaner, and then blew it out with compressed air, and everything looked good in there, so there wasn't no reason to go. But if you look, the motor mounts are pretty shot in this thing. In fact, I can look at the bottom one and I can actually see it's completely broke loose. So I'll have to put some motor mounts. But as far as the power head, and then I'll have to go out in my bone pile and get a shifter. But the power head seems to do all right. Running on both cylinders. There's forward. Oops. There's neutral. There's reverse. Oh, take it right here. So, she runs fine. But if you look at the choke knob, again, it's mostly, I mean, if this was my personal engine, I wouldn't replace this. I would fabricate something. You can see the choke knob is all broke. Really sharp. But it functions just fine. And this part right here is $100. I think it was $113 last time I checked for this choke setup. Now you can buy it in pieces, and but if it was mine, I would just fabricate a washer or something on there that would work. But it's not mine. The fuel connection, all loose. The shift handle was broke. Motor mounts are shot. Rubber grip is literally rotting off. Just abuse. Run them till there ain't nothing left to run. There was something else I came. Oh yeah, I still got a. And that clutch dog definitely is. It works, but again, you know, it needs to replace. So I'm gonna pull that off there real quick. In fact, if that's, you can look under there real quick. Nope, them are 7/16, I believe. Yep. So. And this thing will probably have the double clutch dog. So it won't, it's not life and death, but unless somebody's already replaced it. Okay. And just as I suspected. I don't want to drop them in my tank. Let me remove them bolts. Okay. So you remember this little piece right here I showed you? Right there. That little boogaloo. If you look right there, the end of it's missing. Right there, it has one. So that's the one that's catching. That one ain't doing anything. So this little piece goes right on the end of there. Well, you get the idea. So, we've got to go out, and I have a bin full of those, and get one of those and put on. It's just a C-clamp and a little spring, wire spring. Then I got to get the handle, and so forth. But that one's just regular old, good old 30 Johnson abuse. So, and I did test that coil that was on it. It tested fine. The issue with no spark was the wire grounded in the power pack, and I'm sure this power pack is good. It was just grounded because of the bare wire. So we're not gonna put that back on there. I'll get him a new shift handle. I'll get him a new clutch dog. I will do the motor mounts. I'll call him and ask him if he wants them new or if he wants them used. If I remember right, they're $100 and something bucks for the set. He's got at least 3 that I can tell that are gone. The one that's up under the cowling pan in the center, I'm not sure. There's a total of 4, 2 on the side, 1 under the cowl pan, and the 1 down bottom. You'll need those. Shift handle, power pack. So he's going to spend a little bit on this motor, but it runs really well. Pete's Water Strong runs really good. Oh yeah, the shift handle cover grip, I'll put a different one of them on there. I just slice them off with a razor knife, peel them on, put some contact cement in the new one, push it on. Let it sit overnight, that's done. So this thing's a wrap. It's a runner, just a few little cosmetic-y type things. The motor mounts are not cosmetic. That needs to be fixed. And so I'll throw them in there, and that's pretty straightforward. So thanks for watching.
Good job.